We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing very, very well. Got another Planetside 2 video for you today, and this actually is the result of a question I had in one of my other Planetside 2 videos, just to how exactly do you capture bases? I know that this is one of the mysterious things of Planetside 2, something that I actually spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out on my own. And now that I kind of got it figured out, I thought I would make a video just to kind of explain how the whole process works, how you can gain sorts of information, what you need to focus on, those sorts of things. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in here and just try to show you what's going on. Now, first thing you need to be aware of is when a territory is flashing, that means that there is some sort of enemy presence. So if we look here, we've got these territories flashing. If we go to this enemy activity, you can see that they're not looking so good. Now, with this one is actually, it's not a pure example of where there's activity, because this one is actually completely taken over by my team. Even though it's blue, there's no activity. So basically, all that means is that my team is taking it over, and there is no resistance from the NC. Now, whereas these over here, they're actually, the NC is actually taking over these territories from my team. So let's go ahead and see if I can spawn in and show you guys what's going on here. Just kind of understand it, how things work out. So basically, there's a couple things you need to be aware of. First and foremost, you need to understand that every base is a little bit different. And this is kind of one of the cool things about Planetside 2, but it's also a little bit difficult to learn, if that makes sense. Because, like I said, every base is a little bit different. Now, let's go ahead and use this base right here that I'm at as an example. Right now I'm at the LithCorp Secure Mine. Now, looking here, I'm going to hit Alt and free my mouse. Over here, you can see that underneath LithCorp Secure Mine, there's A, B, and C. Now, if we zoom in really close, you can actually see this A, B, and C listed here on the map. These are the three control points that govern this territory right here, which is outlined by these hexes. Now, if you're playing on NC or Terran and you want to come and capture this, you actually need to capture each of these three control points. So on your map, I'm going to set a personal waypoint. You'd actually need to run over to this place and capture it. Now, I've already got it captured because I'm obviously on Vanu, but you get the point. If I was on another faction, basically you run to this capture point, you stand in the radius, and there's a little bit of a countdown timer that shows that you're overtaking it, and then there's a recount timer showing that you captured. So right here, you can see right here, there's this little, this would be a timer. If this was an enemy territory, it would slowly count down to neutral and then count back up to purple, showing that I control it. Now, once, let's pretend that let's say I did this to all three of these capture points, and I captured A, B, and C, and but it's still under enemy territory. The second that you capture the third one, it's not like poof, it flips over. Now, what comes into play is what is called influence. You can see over here we've got this influence. It says 67% purple, 33% blue. So that means that 67% of the tiles that are touching this territory are in the control of Vanu, and 33% are in the control of the NC. So as you can look, you see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 12 out of 18 is 67%. That's where they get those numbers from. Now, influence is actually a really cool mechanic, and basically what it encourages is that you slowly take out the map, and it discourages things like if I was to hop in a Sunderer or a Flash and drive out here and try to take this Amerish Ark's Reserve. So that type of activity would be really discouraged, because as you can see, this is my cursor is on it, so the influence here is 100% NC. So that means that it's going to take me a really long time for the countdown ticker to run. Versus over here, or even over here, this is a better one. We have 44%, so the countdown ticker runs really quickly. So basically, the amount of influence that you have over a territory allows that countdown ticker to run faster. And having less means it's going to run slower. So if you, like, for example, right here, if this territory is not connected with the NC at all. So actually, this is kind of a bad example because they also have this one. But let's just pretend that this plant right here, this Wokuk, Amp Station was the only territory controlled by Terran, and it was surrounded completely by blue. That means there would be 100% influence of blue. And if the blue comes in here and they recapture all the capture points, that means that it's probably going to maybe take, I don't know, maybe a minute or something like that, like maybe 30 seconds. It's going to go pretty quickly. I don't know exactly what the timers are, but it goes very, very quickly for that territory to actually turn and become in the control of the others. So actually, this is a good part right here. You can see that this deep core platinum mine now is 100% under the influence of the NC. So if you're playing NC and you come in and you take this territory, the countdown timer will go very, very quickly. So it's kind of a cool and interesting mechanic. Now let's talk a little bit about each specific base. Like I said, the bases are all different. I'm going to go ahead and try and drive out and show you what I'm talking about more specifically. So, this base that I'm here right now, it has 3 pretty straightforward bases, and they're accessible by ground. You just kind of run into this little hut, and then you capture the base. Now, there are some bases like Tech Labs that actually have the capture points are elevated, so you actually need to get yourself up into the Tech Lab, and that requires a little bit more effort and activity. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Econam Biolab. So a lot of times, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to be aware of how to get to the capture points. Also of note is that sometimes they have little outposts, is kind of what I call them. Outposts that are surrounding really big, important bases, and they kind of serve as, if you're an enemy team trying to capture this base, it's going to take you maybe a couple of hours and just hundreds and hundreds of guys, hundreds and hundreds of respawns to take it over. So they let you capture these outposts, which provide a spawn point. So it kind of keeps the action fresh, keeps things nice and the flow of the battle running smoothly. So I'm going to see if I believe that this base here, this thing that I'm driving towards, is one of those outposts. And a lot of times these outposts will also provide jump pads for you to get up to this Tech Lab. So here, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You can see right here, 119, 199, 79. This right here is an outpost. It actually does a couple things. It provides a spawn point. It also provides, you can see there right here, those are weapon caches. There's also a vehicle spawner. So it provides a lot of really important things for your assault. And this is the capture point right here. You can see this is the biolab of Econam. And you can see that right here, this is under the control of purple. Now this one over here is under control of blue. So this one is still NC. So I'm actually going to think about driving over there and trying to capture it myself, just to kind of show you guys what's going on. Because these are really important. They're extremely, extremely important if you want to try to take bases. Just because of the nature of how these captures go, it takes a long time, and you definitely are going to need, the vehicle. Oh boy, don't want to be driving down here. You're going to need the vehicles. You're going to need the respawns. You're going to need the replenish your ammo. You're going to need all these things in order to make this push happen. So capturing these are really important. And they also have jump pads. I believe there's some jump pads. I'm going to try to find those as well. So actually I know this one because I've been on this battle quite often. There's actually a jump pad. I believe it's right there. So if we go over here, we can actually see that, yep, here's the jump pad. This jump pad will actually, let's go ahead and take the jump pad just to show it off. It will actually jump you all the way up to the top of the base, and you can take it over. Now you can see that now this is exactly what I was talking about. We've got A, C, and B. Those were exactly those capture points I was talking about earlier. Now, returning to this little outpost station, I'm going to go ahead and capture it. So this one, as you can see, I get up here, I'm on the capture point. Now, if we look right here, we've got this ticker right here. You can see it's ticking down. That means that it is going neutral. And then eventually it will start actually going back up in my favor. So that's really important and really helpful. This does not actually affect the overall capture status of the entire base. Like, taking this over isn't really going to do anything specifically, other than what it will do is it will actually cut off the spawn. So up till now, the NC could actually spawn in this building right here, and then they could kind of come and defend. And actually, I'm a little bit nervous that somebody's going to come and try to kill me. But overall, it's really, really helpful, really beneficial, and just, I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about in terms of taking this over. You can see it's blinking. That's an important thing to know. That means that it's being taken over by an enemy. In this case, I am the NC's enemy, and almost there. Okay, there we go. So I got some XP for that. It became in my control, and now, as you can see on the minimap, we've got a vehicle spawns there. We've got a room there with the weapon respawn stuff. Very, very good and very, very helpful. Now, also to display my point, you can see right over here, this little bar is flashing and it's slowly ticking down. This was that tick bar that I was talking about earlier. I don't actually even know the official name of it, but this is, as you can see over here on the left, I can't move my mouse, but just take a look in this area. You can see that it's still ticking down, and the influence there is 56% NC, 44% Vanu, which is exactly what I talked about earlier. We've got these sides, and they do the math, so it comes out to 56 to 44. Now, because our influence isn't huge, it means that this capture time is going to take a little bit longer. You can see it's actually probably going to be another couple of minutes that I'll have to wait here. And actually there it just went neutral, and now it's coming back Vanu. So it will stay blue until this bar reaches all the way up to 100%. Then I'll get my certification for capturing it. I think you get like 3 or 4 certs. So then basically this will turn purple, and it will be as if it is our own. It looks like we have a little bit of resistance, but nothing too major. We own all 4 of these outlying capture posts, outposts. And like I said before, each one of these outposts actually has a jump pad where you can, get access up to the main biolab itself. So it's definitely really important to know what you're doing. Because really, one of the things that I notice is that it's, number one, it's difficult to even figure out like what's going on right now. We've got all these 3 capture points. Why didn't it turn purple? Well, that's because of the influence and the way that works. And I think that the main reason for this is, you don't want to have this thing where you just like, if you get like a flow, like a huge influx of of Vanu on Amrish right now, if we got a huge surge of population, we could just like wipe out a whole map if it was really easy to capture a point. What this does right now is it keeps the Vanu in Econam Biolab, and it allows, for the NC to kind of make their push back and kind of regroup their forces to try to recapture the Biolab. It's definitely allows for the game to be a little bit more clogged up, if that makes sense. It allows for the pushes to be more united instead of kind of people just kind of like zerging across the map, capturing points. It kind of funnels people together and creates these really big battles. So it's a cool mechanic, and I really dig it. But it's just something to be aware of. And also, I think that one of the biggest things that I had to learn is, how do you actually get up into these biolabs? Well, some of them have jump pads. Other of them, you just kind of run into the base, kind of like that first one that I started at over here at the Lithcorp Secure Mine. Every base is a little bit different. You just kind of need to, be observant, kind of follow your teammates, see what they're doing. This base here has 3 capture points. Some only have 1. I think that it's even possible for some to have more than 3. I'm not really 100% sure, though. You just kind of need to be aware of what's going on and be perceptive about how to capture them. But in general, the basic points are, if it's a big biolab up on stilts like this, you need to use the jump pads. Other places like tech plants, I believe, they primarily rely on like shields. So you need to, break down 1 shield at a time. And that's like a whole nother thing that probably deserves a whole nother video. But like I believe this amp station, you actually need to break down, the outer wall will actually have an anti-vehicle shield. That'll be like right here. But then there'll be an inner wall that has an anti-infantry shield. And then you need to break that down by destroying a generator. There's all these different steps to capturing these bases. And basically the best way to learn it is just to try to be perceptive and understanding of where you are and what your teammates are doing and kind of move in concert with them. That's probably the best advice that I can give you guys in terms of learning them. Because like I said, they're all a little bit different. They all do things a little bit differently. And as you can see, actually, my timer's almost ready. Then a big, nice reward will pop up, and I'll get some certs. There we go. Facility captured. I just got my certifications. Feeling really good about that. Oh, also one really minor thing quick. When this was going, it said like 1 out of 2, 0 out of 2, 2 out of 2. That is actually the number of guys that are physically on those capture points, and if you keep guys there, it actually will capture it more quickly. So that's another way to kind of reduce that countdown timer. But overall, a little bit long-winded from me, but I hope I covered in enough detail how to actually do this and capture bases. I hope that this was helpful to you guys if you're new to Planetside 2, or even if you have been around for a little while and you never really understood why things are the way they are. I hope that this is helpful. There are definitely things about this game that I don't yet fully understand, but it's definitely, a little bit of understanding can go a long way. So I'm going to cut it off here, and I'm going to see if I can join the push here, maybe try to defend this or take this. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will definitely see you again soon.